Hello and welcome everyone to the OVRC. Welcome to round 4 of the GT Series Season 5. We are once again back in Italy again after the last round in Monza, and today we are at the Imola circuit. I'm joined once again by Erwin.
Hello everyone.
We are about 30 seconds before qualifying begins. Been quite an interesting practice session. I don't know if you've been paying much attention to it, but quite tight mid-pack right now. I'd say that, just looking at the times. This should be a fairly interesting race. Imola is not a track which we have used much. This is the second time we've ever been here in the OVRC history, so not a track we often go to, but a fun track nevertheless. I thoroughly enjoy this track when driving it. Don't know how much experience you have here.
Yeah, I have also really enjoyed driving here.
It's quite a flowing track. But it's also got some high speed, notably the start-finish straight, which obviously after 2009 doesn't have the chicane anymore, as Thomas Olsen is the first car out the pits right now. He's going to start his outlap for qualifying, qualifying 15 minutes in the C series. So it should be quite interesting how the results are right now. In terms of balance performance right now, the Mercedes and the Porsche, I believe since the last race, have had additional balance performance applied to them globally in race room. We obviously don't apply any balance performance in the season, mostly because we don't really have the data to do so, but the Merc's got about 20 kilograms extra, the Porsche's 15 or something like that, so they should be a bit slower right now. Saying that, Mercedes has been very strong in practice, so doesn't necessarily seem to affect them too much.
So as this qualifying gets underway, shall I take us through the championship standings?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
The leading championship right now is Mike Stoffmill with 280 points. Second is Thomas Olsen with 164 points. Third is Gerasimus Cassel with 136 points. Fourth is Thomas Jansen with 128 points. Fifth is Gerard Grondjen with 112 points. And in the team standings, leading is Virtual Drives by TX3 with 280 points, which is just Mike Stoffmill on his own, so he's still leading the team championship, but closely behind him with 272 points is Team Denmark. Then in third is OVRC with 186 points. Fourth is Pro Formula Esports A with 163 points. And fifth is Pro Formula Esports B with 114 points. And as usual, if you want to check out the full standings, you can do so at the link in the description.
Thank you for that, Erwin. So, Stoffman got a bit of a advantage in the point standings by in very successful first two opening rounds, winning both of those and coming second at Monza, so that explains why he is quite far up the order over everyone else, as Olsen is starting his lap, which is a bit deep then, just into Tossa. I'm going to mispronounce half the names of these corners, by the way, so I apologise in advance. So he's taking it right now. We are riding on board with him right now on his first lap. But right now he is the person to beat right now. Mike Stoffel having 2 wins so far. Thomas Jansen only with 1 win after having somewhat quite disastrous races in the first 2 with punctures in both of them. He recovered that at Monza. There's also has been a patch to the tyres, so they should be causing less punctures now. Hope so, anyway. So hopefully luck turns in a bit in his favour, and he was at the end of practice the quickest car. There's also going to go to the final corner now onto the very long back straight. The B&W is going to have quite the advantage down here. Again, it's very good at the high end. All the other cars, the Mercedes, the Audi and the Porsche, all meant their power at the low end, all naturally aspirated cars, as Thomas Olsen sets a 140 at 3.135. Next car to cross the line on a time lap, I believe, will be Robert Nygaard as Sergio in front of him. I don't think he's on a valid time. No, I lie, he is on a valid time. Just not reading information correctly, as Robert Nygaard cut across the line for P2 with a 1:43.8. Thomas Janssen currently fastest in Sector 1 and Sector 2. He will cross the line and looks to improve on the top time, and he will do, and puts himself at 1:42.665, so that's provisional pole right now.
Mike Stoffmill seems to be going faster, as he is on the straight now and will be crossing the line soon. Let's see if he can take first position. And he does with a 1:42.3, which is 3/10 faster than Janssen.
That's a very good time by him. The Audi, strong as ever. A bit more tricky car to drive. Very good in the corners now. Got one of the slower cars. I had one of the James Butler in the old model 911 Porsche.
Janssen did just go fastest in Sector 1.
Yep. Moves his time. The boards are slowly filling up right now. With over half the cars have set times now. On the BMW ahead, I can't tell which BMW that is. It's either Sebastian Brunier or Christoph Verstappen. One of those two, giving a good bit of tone right now, so that'll be helping his top end out a bit as he heads into the R2 corners of this track.
And that is indeed Sebastian Brunier in front of him.
Could be giving a bit of a tow here. Obviously, these two are teammates in the series and have been working quite closely on the setup of the car as Thomas Janssen goes pole, or provisional pole again. A slight improvement in his time, up to 1:42.3. Across the line, he will improve his time and get quite a bit closer now to the top two in his time, but not quite close enough to really challenge those two. And last time out, he was having a really good race at Monza until I believe he had ran out of fuel. Had to do a splashing dash right at the end, which cost him a ton of positions. Unfortunately, ruined what was quite a good, strong performance from him at Monza.
Thomas Janssen once again improves in Sector 1, and he's back in the pits, so he's abandoned that lap.
Something went wrong there, we didn't quite catch that unfortunately, but yeah, small mistake at some point. Carzo improves his time. Goes up to a 1:44.483. A few people are still improving their times, trying to get closer to the top positions. Midfield was fairly close in practice, so I imagine it'll be getting fairly close now in qualifying once everyone takes the fuel out the car a bit. Interesting to see where everyone will end up right now, as everyone but one car so far have set a time in the session. Alison Miller moves up to P10. The highest placed of the Corvettes right now. drivers are improving their sectors. Seca's improving, Sebastian Brunier's improving, James Butler, Villar. All 4 of those are currently improving sector times right now. Just crossed the 6-minute mark. And Seca improves as... No, he doesn't. He validates it, apparently. According to the timing boards. A bit wide somewhere, as was a car spun in front of... Oh! Not the position you really want to be sitting there. That was Adam there, sitting on the exit there of the corners, as Sebastian looks to be going into the pit lane.
Mike Stoffmill is still lapping around, although he is not really closing up on Jensen at the moment. So maybe he will still pull something off in the final sector, but I doubt it. We will see though, as he will cross the line in just a moment. And does not improve, so stays in 2nd position.
He got the fastest sector 3 then, so the Audi, which most often was a bit worried for the final 3 tracks of the series, saying they're going to be favour the M6.
Tom Bottage in 6th just went fastest in sector 2. What he can do in the final sector.
Bit scruffy on the exit of the corner 4, but see if it affects him too much as he crossed the line to himself a P3.
That's a good improvement there.
Right on the doorstep of the top 2.
Mike Stoffmill again improves his personal sector 1, but he's not as good as Jensen for that sector. And he does go fastest in sector 2.
I knew by a 10th, so
perhaps he could yet take pole position.
That's the 3-minute mark is just gone, so not many more laps you can complete before it's over. 2 corners to go now.
He crosses the line and takes professional pole.
So it's up to Jensen now to try and get a tap in. He currently is out on track right now.
Yeah, but he's not improving on his sector still. He's about to start a new lap, and he's still got enough time left.
Get 1 more in, so this will have to be the lap. All the cars are heading towards improving their personal sector times.
Jensen does not improve in sector 1.
There's a tiny bit there. Sector 2 was where Stoffel made a lot of gains. So he can improve here. Very tricky section now. Final rally. into Valley Alta.
Does improve his personal sector, but
Ooh,
lower than Stoffmill, and he seems to have messed up the exit there.
you got a big old slide down the exit,
And he's abandoned the lap and back in the pits.
unless someone else on the track right now can do a blinder lap right now, it looks like Stoffmill will take pole.
Yeah, no one's really going faster right now. Not a lot of people out on track. Mostly people on the lower end. Oh, and there are our final results. So Mike Stoffmill takes pole, followed by Thomas Jansen. They will start on the first row. Then Tom Pottage takes P3. Christopher Strapen takes P4. Romanenko takes P5. And Thomas Olsen will start in P6. Followed by Robert Nygaard, Alexander Zegger, Gerard Gronion, and Jordan Pierce, who will make up the top 10.
So fairly tight at the front end. Quite close gaps towards the middle. So it should be interesting to see how this will go as the gridding up phase begins. All the cars start to line up on the grid. Currently 20 cars in this session. Should be a good race. So 30 seconds left in the grid period.
Yeah, they're all lining up on the grid now.
Well, now I don't know who's not currently gridded up yet. There's a few more, one slot at the back I think is empty, and there we go, that's the whole grid. All set now. As the red lights go out. And we are going. A good start there by Mike Stoffmill as he gets a very good launch, and so does Tom Pottage. Thomas Jansen bogged down a bit there in the M6. Not what the start he wanted as Stoffmill coaches to the inside into turn 1. So far so clean as Tom Pottage looks to the outside but doesn't really do anything. Stays behind for now and Stoffmill keeps his lead. But for the rest of the pack seems to have got mostly cleanly through first chicane down to Villeneuve. One of the BMWs goes a bit wide. I think it's Verstappen who goes wide there, loses a position to Thomas Jansen now, so Jansen slips back into P3. There's one of the Corvettes right in the background there goes off. And he loses a bunch of speed. I think it's Adam Rainley does that, so he's right at the back of the field now. As we possibly have a spinner. Oh, we do.
Oh, there's a bunch of people off the track. Looks like Mollier, Pierce, and Butler.
Bunch of cars there, a bunch of damage. That's missing a front wing as well, so he's taking a head-on impact there. Don't know quite what happened there. Possibly a spin or something. It's on the curb, lost it, but I'm gonna take that in for repairs right now, and everyone else somewhat scampers away. But that's the big. And that's what happened in the midfield, it seems, as the pack's broken up quite a bit there. As Adam Riley goes down the inside, one of the most pushes him quite far out wide. Loses traction on the curb. Meanwhile, with the battle for the lead, Tom Pottage is all over the back of Mike Stoffmill around that AMG. He's got a very good start so far, and someone made him make a bit of a gap to Thomas Jansen behind them. three cars are in the pit lane right now. From the looks of things.
Jordan Pierce, Bohmankov, and Mollier. So I think those must have all been involved in the little accident that happened.
Yeah, I believe all three of those cars had some sort of damage at some point.
Yeah, Jordan Pierce is going back out.
Just gotta be a bit careful now because he's
Mollier has actually retired, it seems.
okay. He had a lot of front end damage there, so I'm not surprised they decided to call it there. And while Romankov is all over the back of Verstappen there, as he goes side by side right now down the start finish straight. Keep going side by side. It's going to be the M6 might start to pull away at the end here, but depends how much downforce each of them running. As Romankov does keep going side by side. They still stay side by side into the chicane. They somehow not touch. Looks like Verstappen might just inch ahead now, and he does. So those two got very close then, but have managed to stay out of trouble and keep going and pointing the right way. So good driving by both of those there.
Yep. Although, Verstappen does go out onto the gravel a bit and loses speed, which allows Romanenko to overtake and take P4.
I think it happened in the first lap, which is how he lost it. He got a very good start, managed to jump Jensen and went wide there again, losing position. So he's lost 2 positions for that method. But by making that same little mistake, going a bit wide there. Jensen seems to be chasing down the leaders right now.
Yeah, Jensen is going a bit faster than the leaders, so he is catching up.
Everyone's under threat now by Thomas Olsen. Everyone's going quite wide on the exit there, so be careful. There are some anti-cuts there, so if you hit them a bit wrong, you risk damaging the suspension. So you guys should probably be a bit more careful.
You can see Thomas Jensen really getting close to Tom Pottage now.
He's closed the gap to under half a second now. I believe another car. I think Adam's now in the pit lane now, so
Adam has retired.
he was trying to make some moves up very early on, so maybe he had a crash or something with somebody. It's because that, as Thomas Jansen's on all over the back now, Tom Pottage, so almost losing a bit of time to the leader. Not quite as quick as the top 2 in qualifying. Managed to get a very good start to get in front of Thomas Jansen off the start there. The extra grunt of the AMG being useful. Well, the midfield pack as such is close as ever with this little pack right now with Verstappen, Olsen second and Nygaard all very close together. Anything could happen here and lose a bunch of positions, so it's now very important for especially Verstappen to keep his position, to stay pointing the right way and trying not to lose too much time by mistakes. As Olsen goes down the inside, clean move, and he makes it happen. Very clean move, just saw the opportunity there and just went straight down the inside, so good move by Olsen.
Very well done, as Alexander Secher seems to be trying to get alongside Verstappen now.
Nygaard sort of looking a bit icy there in the background.
Yeah.
As he pulls out. Oh, bit dangerous there. Sometimes that happens where one person pulls out and the car in front also looks to make a move and everyone sort of gets a bit tangled. Secher loses a bit of time there, goes a bit off track. And allows Nygaard to make an attack. But goes defensive and denies the overtake opportunity. Somewhat letting Grinion in the background catch up on these lot. Callaway Corvette, so he's sort of making the most of these lot fighting right now.
Meanwhile, at the front, Tom Pottage seems to have picked up the pace a bit, so Thomas Jensen is falling behind slightly. He's still close behind, but he's losing a bit of time now.
I think it's going to be a bit of a case of one lap being quicker, the next lap being a bit slower. I don't think it's going to be much changing. As Nygaard has closed the gap quite now, as does Aseka. So everyone's still remaining fairly close right now. No clear viewer of more pace than others. Greenland's also close to the back of Nygaard now, so it seems to be a case of everyone gets close and then has to back off, and lets another car get close and then have to back off. So
Tom Pottage is now slipstreaming Mike Stoffmill down the main straight. And he is definitely closing up, so let's see if he can make the move. And he chooses to stick behind for now.
he was gaining quickly then, and
Yeah.
I think Stoffel parked his car a bit in the middle of the road there just to sort of give him options. A bit risky, but some horses stayed behind. Knew that if you want to make a move, then it had to be in quite a large lunge, especially in that high-speed corner. That corner is quite scary when you're racing into it. It's the fastest point on the track. A small mistake where anyone could send your car flying off into that gravel trap and possibly end your race. So.
Yeah, Tom was half a second faster than Mike on the last lap, so he was definitely gaining pretty quickly.
Those two seem to have gained some pace, or Jansen's lost some pace as he's dropped back a bit again. Meanwhile, in the fight of the midfield, this is a fight for P7. The Olsen has somewhat managed to escape this group. They're all still very close to each other right now. And down the hill now. Losing a bit of time now on the exit. It's sometimes quite hard when you're racing someone, and if you get a bit too close into those slow corners, that you actually lose a bunch of time because you can't exactly power through someone. So you got to wait back, and you possibly lose time. As Nygaard gets a lot of speed there, looks for the move possibly, but pulls out of doing so. You see towards the end there, the M6 that seems to gain a lot of speed over the AMG. Some got the grunt at the start of them straight, as Nygaard gets a bit loose then.
He gets onto the grass, loses position to Grunion there.
He is still pointing the right way now. Got to keep going at this point. Bit unfortunate there for him.
And there's Secher really looking to make a move on Verstappen possibly. And not right now, but he is very close behind.
Not a particular corner just there where you can do that.
Yeah.
It's a bit risky. Very high speed, and the car's not balanced at all there. It's an off-camber corner. Not flat. So I wouldn't suggest making a move there, is what I'm saying. Has lost a bit of time there to Verstappen through the chicane.
Yeah.
So obviously got a bit too close to the back of that car. So it's only still 47 minutes to go. I think people are not risking their cars yet. It's once you get over the last 10 minutes, people start to get a bit more feisty, a bit more willing to take risks. As we just had a comment from Valet a moment that he could not repair his car in the pit lane, hence the retirement. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. As Tom Potters is once again right on the back of our leader. So is Verstappen as they go side by side right now through Tosser. A staking Verstappen on the inside line. Will Olsen Secker get ahead? Yes, he does. So Secker now through. Verstappen just seems to be struggling a bit on race pace compared to the two MGs. Now demoted down to P7. He's still hanging with him though. He's not quite finished yet. Now head down the hill. Still very close to each other right now. Has to brake a bit earlier. Emergency brake. He just took a too shallow line there. Just saw there, which meant he had to brake to avoid crashing into Secker. That ultimately cost him there his chance to get a move down the back straight. Put him in position to possibly get overtaken by Grunion behind. As he's now getting a bunch of extra tow now on the BMW.
Well, at the front, the top two are definitely increasing the gap to Thomas Jensen. As Stoffmill and Pottage are still quite close together.
That gap has extended quite a bit now. It's now a 2-second gap between Potters and Jansen right now.
Seems to be a back marker coming up for them as well.
Quite interesting to see how they all deal with this.
Back marker is Jordan Pierce, who was involved in the accident on the first lap. So he has quite a smashed up front end on his Mercedes.
Right now he's just got to make sure he's getting actually a good spot now on the back straight. Would be a very good shot to try and pull over and just let them through. Close as he's pulling. So it's the back marker pulling the pit lane. So if that's out, in fact the front marker's coming through, or he's just had a bit too much damage there to continue on. Tom Potters has somewhat made a little gap now, broken away a bit. Yeah, the speed going into that first corner, quite a lot. It's actually on board. Meanwhile, Steffen's lost another position now to Grunion. He's really struggling right now. Now he's got Robert Nygaard on behind him as well, so getting pretty spicy right now between these three. As Grunion goes a bit wide there, so he loses a bunch of time, and now Verstappen goes around the outside. Nygaard's supposed to look to do the same. He's not quite close enough to make that work. Verstappen now gets back in front again. The two Mercedes in front of them have somewhat made a bit of a break. They managed to get away somewhat, so.
Yes, James Butler was just off into the barrier and is also retired now.
There's a bit of contact there with Robert Nygaard and Grunion there. Not too much. Nothing major happened. Grunion did cut a bit of a course, but didn't seem to gain much out of it, so I think much of issue will be taken there. As one of the Mercedes is off in the gravel trap just ahead. And
Alexander Secker.
He's gone off there.
And he's dropped back down to P10 by Sebastian. Oh, Bernier has spun. Trying to get back on track as Secker is also stopped in the middle of the road. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
Maybe
I
I
don't
think.
think they hit, but maybe they did.
Maybe they believe they touched. Maybe you believe he caused that spin.
Yeah,
Going off again. Sebastian managed to keep it out of the wall.
seemed to me like they were too far apart to really have touched, but either way, Secher just waited for Brunier there. So that means Secher dropped down to P13 and Brunier down to P12.
Unfortunate for both of them. Maybe they did touch. Maybe Seka just thought that his rejoin was dangerous or something because he was somewhat perpendicular to the track. So he must have gone on there. We won't know. Nygaard's behind Brinion as they have got back on behind. Verstappen somewhat managed to get a gap again. Quite back and forth race this.
Yeah.
People gaining and losing time and then gaining again.
Well, at the front, Mike Stoffmill has formed quite a gap to Tom Pottage right now. So it seems that I'm not sure what went on. If Tom Pottage had a much last lap time wasn't very good, so I'm guessing something happened on the last lap, which caused this gap to form.
You know, I was going
And
down.
they are both still pulling away from Thomas Jensen.
Just going down the order a bit as a fitting fight for P10 with Victor Berlin and Villar. And the highest placed Porsches right now. It's Porsche again, but not after having Darren King, I believe, got the P2 result at Silverstone in the Porsche. He is unfortunately not returned to race here. So for the Porsches, while a popular car outside of the OVRC, not the car of choice for top runners here, it seems.
Alexander Secher is going side by side with Brunier, and now he does back out of it. So whatever happened earlier, they're back to fighting now.
Yep. Both up to racing speed now, so I think it's a bit of a case of whoever overtakes whoever gains the position. Go up the hill. Not close enough to really make anything done. And again, a lot of spots on this track where it's not exactly wise to overtake. Well, it's quite fast, and it's quite a lot of it is where the car's unsettled. Gotta be a bit careful sometimes. Zeka gets a bit wobbly down the exit, and he hits. I believe he hits some of those exit curbs. I can quite unsettle the car quite easily. All below of the shot right now. Just up the road from these two is those two Porsches I was referring to earlier. And now heading down the back straight. And Victor goes to the outside line, or the inside line actually. As I say, side by side under braking. Villar goes in. Villar manages to stop them. I thought he was quite late on the brakes then, but he manages to stay in front. So Villar stays ahead of Berlin. Ooh, car's off in gravel. Gravel, someone went off in it. Or touched it anyways, a path of gravel. Just then. Possibly that could be Steve Higgins, who's just up the road. Oh, a quiet race for him right now. Not really surrounded by anyone. Sometimes it's just what you want. You want to have a clean race, get home, get some points. The guy's now is on the back of Grinning again.
Secher and Brunier still very close together.
Maybe those two are going to be budging soon.
We're very close on pace right now.
Oh my god, ooh, goes a bit deep then, loses a bit of time there. Just looking to race a bit harder to make it round the corner, so he loses some time to bring in front.
Tucker is slipstreaming Bernier down the main straight right now. Let's see if he can make an attempt to overtake this time around. As they go side by side. And Bernier seems to let Seger get past pretty easily there. So Seger moves up to P12.
Possibly thinking Secker is just faster than him, so there's no real point fighting him.
Berlin still very close to Villar as they go side by side into the corner. Villar gets a better exit there.
Stays ahead. He's looking to make a move down there. I wouldn't suggest that. I wouldn't. I don't feel comfortable seeing him move there, but lucky enough it didn't happen.
Any previous experiences with that?
I've seen enough people try and overtake there and fail miserably that it is a point where I can safely say that unless you are really ballsy,
Oh,
you
Thomas Jansen is... Oh, he's in the pits.
Pits.
Yeah.
Just parked up, so did he get suspension damage possibly? Pitbox. It's Berlin, it's side by side. Somewhat scuppered his race a bit. Pushing possibly a bit too hard.
Oh, Jansen has retired.
Okay
Not
then.
sure what's on there. Maybe equipment failure?
Possibly. Possibility there. The car doesn't look damaged on the entry, so the car's not getting like rubbing on the floor or anything from a puncture or something like that. So I don't know. Oh my god, is still behind Grunion right now. Slides a bit there. You see the rear end just trying to come around a bit. Bit careful about that.
Thomas reporting in the YouTube chat that he's just not feeling well today and constantly zoning out. So hope you can get better soon. Yeah, shame you had to leave, but if you feel like that's what you gotta do, then so be it. Hope you feel better soon.
Yep. Hopefully for a speedy recovery.
So right now, really a fight between Nygaard and Groningen. Nygaard making the overtake at your favorite spot.
At my favourite spot. He managed to do it just before then. So he somewhat gets away without me panicking. But yeah, there you go. He has done it. He managed to get the move done fairly early on and clear them. So good move by Nygaard. He moved up to P6.
Right, as meanwhile at the front, Mike Stoffman has about a 2-second gap to Tom Pottage now. So not really much fighting going on there right now. Although Tom was quite a bit faster on the last lap, so he seems to be catching up.
Yeah, he's closing the gap down. So he's going to possibly try and make a late race move. Grunion is somewhat losing time right now to Nygaard. Nygaard's somewhat being a bit unchained now as he's now gaining on Verstappen in front. Goes wide again there. Yeah, he's definitely closing that gap down. Meanwhile, just up ahead right now is Mike Stoffel, who's somewhat had a quite relaxing drive for a few minutes now. But Tom Bottas is closing that gap. He's trying his best to close that gap down.
Tom is definitely closing the gap. He was 3 tenths faster than Mike on the last lap. So maybe he can get within striking distance in a few laps time, as there's still about 30 minutes left in the race.
Plenty of time to do so. Oh, Nygaard gets a bit loose then again. It's the same mistake he did a bit earlier on in the race where he gets a bit too much gravel and then loses it, rejoining the track. Again, keeps pointing forward but loses the position to Grunion. So again, as on the Seca is pulling up behind the Villar. So he hops over the curve a bit and loses it. He just rotates round and can't have any suspension damage. Look like it. He gets back up to full speed again. Oh, he definitely struggling now by going on there. He stays out, so obviously not enough damage to worry about. So second, all over the back of Villar now, who Victor Berlin's just up the road, so he's managed to break away from him after having a bit of a battle earlier on in the race. As always, a bit of door banging there. Seco forces his way down the inside there and makes the move work. None of them lose control. A very late move there. He managed to get as well back up into P10. So he's back on his comeback drive after getting decent at the grid and then having spin in the gravel trap, and then possibly in contact with Sebastian Brunier, which led him to drop even further down the order as he was waiting for him to get back on track again. Is chasing at Verstappen now. He's just about in the slipstream range, but you can see the BMW shoot off once the power's up. That thing's got all its power in the top end. But once again, another one of the natural aspirator cars, a bit more smooth power curve. Will somewhat gained a bit towards the end of that long straight. So far, somewhat quieting down in this later stage of the race. Gaps are somewhat being made up by a few timers and DNFs and a few incidents along the way. There's currently 15 cars still running after the 20 starters. Bad issue right now. Those anti-cuts. Those anti-cuts seem to be quite vicious, from what I understand. They're quite large and can take the suspension off quite easily. I think you mentioned this a bit early on in the race, but you want to try and avoid those if you can. A few anti-cuts around here. And with race room suspension damage now being a part of the simulation, be a bit more careful sometimes. Last 25 minutes.
As the gap between Stoffmill and Pottage seems to be increasing again.
Stoffmill managed to get some good laps out once again, it seems. A bit of back and forth right now between Verstappen and Bruno. There's none of them really being able to close the gap down, so I'm not seeing quite stable between these two. Well, Max Verstappen quite comfortably leading right now. He's got a 2.9 second gap to Tom Bottas behind him. Still in visible range, still can see him in the mirror. Just to remind him that you can't quite get off the throttle yet. We're not really close enough to make a proper challenge. It'll all change later on in the race.
Oh, Tom Pottage has spun.
Oh, he has. He's
he's retired.
It's another retirement in the top end. I guess he hit the curb and spun. I don't know. There's something going on there. Ooh, one of the other Mercs just behind Amenkov. So it's also on the gravel trap where a few more people having troubles this late stage of the race.
Mike Stoffmill is now leading by 15 seconds, so it really makes it, well, a race only he can throw away at this point.
Unfortunately, it seems so. P2 is, as you say, 14 seconds behind. Imola's taking more victims right now.
There's some big gaps between people right now, so not really that much going on. See how things develop throughout the final stages of the race. We are getting close to the 20-minute mark.
Yep. We've lost a bit of the gap now as well. Everyone's somewhat, yeah, everyone's sort of settling to their pace now, and due to the gaps being increasing, quite hard for some people to keep up without the slipstream that obviously following another car will provide. It's still far from over yet. A lot can happen.
Something seems to have just happened between Stephen Higgins and Robert Nygaard.
Ooh, the last spun.
Lars spun, so that's allowed Sebastian Brunier to get through and move up into P10. See how this rejoin works out. Cazorla just getting past, and Velar is back on the track.
Yeah, Steve Higgins, Robert Nygaard must have a spin or something. He's dropped down. Last lap was a 1:43.9. About a second faster than Steve Higgins in front of him right now, so he must have had a spin or something like that. And he's lost a bunch of time due to it. Alexander Secker closing on the back of Victor Berlin. He's on his comeback drive again. I chase down that Porsche as well. Nygaard is also now within the second range of Stephen Higgins. Time he's making through those fast corners in Victor Berlin. We are hopping on board with Saka. He's chasing down Porsche front. Yes, Robert Nygaard's also closing the gap down to Stephen Higgins. Just up the road, so not far from these two. You can just about see glimpses of them. Onto Victor Berlin up ahead. A lot of time now on brake, so the second just has a lot more confidence in the car about what you can do with it. Porter's got really good acceleration now. All the way again, meanwhile just up the road, Robert Nygaard is going along side by side with Steve Higgins. Can't quite make it round.
Alexander Secker seems to have made his way past Victor Berlin.
Another late lunge into Tabarero. Now moves up into racing of these two now.
Nygaard still gaining on Higgins.
Yep, they are. He's still right there. He's covering all the way over the rear of that car in front's rear mirror, I'm assuming. Not can he get any closer now? Best place to overtake is probably still in the back straight. I mean, it does mean he needs to try and get a really good exit if he can. Does that? He does look for a move. He does make the move now. Goes straight down the inside there. Makes a clean pass.
That's a very nice move.
Yep, makes it lots of room. But now, Stephen Higgins doesn't really give any proper fight up, full up position because honestly, what could he do? They're out blocking him. So, but he is still trying to have possibly a comeback again. Nygaard will still take the inside line now. He'll cover the move away, so he will keep that position a bit longer. Oh, just in the background there, Alexander Secker is closing the gap. But Robert Nygaard needs to possibly try and get as far away as quick as possible. Otherwise he risks getting under a threat by Alexander Secker in the last 15 minutes of this race. Things are starting to heat up again. A few other people who had incidents early on have made their way through once more.
So Alexander Secher maybe getting involved in the fight between Nygaard and Higgins now.
Higgins is losing a bit of time to Robert Nygaard, who is pulling away a bit. Pulling out a second gap. As Alexander Secker is now gaining. Will he do another one of his late moves? He looks like he does. He finds a little gap there and goes straight down the inside. And he does make the move. So once again, Alexander Secker being very brave on the brakes there. Makes a very clean pass down. Steve Higgins finds a tiny little gap he could. Once again, he now moves up into P7 and now goes on the chase for Robert Nygaard. So now a bit of a charge now to gain onto Robert Nygaard. He is definitely quite quick right now. Last at 1:43.8. Out of the top two is the fastest time right now. As Steve Higgins has spun at chicane and drops down a position. Loses his position to Victor Berlin. Keep this momentum going now. He's got just over 12 minutes to do it. Entirely possible. Gap's now under a second. The chase is definitely on. He's a bit loose next there, so obviously running a bit less track control. Trying to get a bit more pace out the car. Lose it on the exit there, so but he's definitely going to get closer now with slipstream possibility. AMG is no slouch. Neither is the M6. Stoffel has extended his lead now to 17 seconds. Off. So 10 minutes to go. There's this somewhat quite thrilling start to the race. Might calm down a bit. I still have a bit more action left to go. We had 5 retirements in this race, so a few casualties to the very tricky Imola. I mean, it's not a forgiving track, let's say that.
Yeah.
A lot of the runoff is either gravel track or a wall. So, like, let's say Paul Ricard, noticeably has lots of runoff and not much wall. Well, not wall anywhere near the circuit anyway. Don't run Paul Ricard in ages. We ran there back in like season 4 or 3 of the GT Series. We ran the Paul Ricard race. Yeah, not exactly a popular track Paul Ricard, unlike Imola, which is actually quite a popular track between drivers. So, if I had the choice between one I want to race at, I'd rather race Imola.
Yeah.
Becker's somewhat struggling. He seems to be definitely quicker in the twisty turny corners, but in a straight line, that Robert Nygaard's car probably a bit more set up for all those sorts of parts of the track. As they are approaching, I believe, a back marker just up the road.
Yeah, Sakir was about a tenth faster on the last lap, so they're pretty close in pace.
Looking at the all the lap times, and they're all fairly close still at this late stage. Obviously, exceptions are Stoffel is still clearly the fastest car on track. His last lap being 1:43.3, but not that far off his best lap in the race. Of course, now a faster best lap is Tom Potter's 1:42.5, so it's a bit of a shame that he had his incident and did retire. Still never had a confirmation about why the retirement he did retire, unless he just didn't feel like it was any point continuing or had damage. Tell at points. So the back markers ahead, one of the quite damaged ports there, Porsche of Pramankov. Hopefully he will get out of the way fairly quickly. Maybe he was on the cars which he caught very early on. He's got quite slow lap times at this point, doing 1:47s. Maybe possibly pulling over to the side once these guys come through. No point really getting in the way. Not going to gain anything. I mean, these guys are actually going to lap him, so even less reason to particularly be obtrusive. As I said, oh, Robert Nygaard
Oh, Nygaard.
loop it. He loops it and then loses the position. So yeah, not quite. He seems to be struggling a bit on the retraction. Some
Yeah,
corners.
so that's made Sagar move up to P6. Nygaard drops down to P7.
Yep. So Saka's back up to nearly where he started, I believe. So good recovery drive from him so far. Oh, I don't think he's going to make much more positions up as the next car ahead is 20 seconds up the road. There's only 5 minutes left, so he's got to kind of hope for maybe someone has an incident or spin to really make any positions up.
Yeah.
He's done what he can. Unfortunately, he does seem to have a tendency to having to do recovery drives in these races. A bit of a habit now, as the Porsche pulls to one side and lets Seka through.
Yeah, as there's about 5 minutes left in the race now. So we're getting close to the end. Even Higgins seems to be quite close to Victor Berlin right now.
Yep.
So maybe they can still give us some action in this towards the end of the race.
Yep. Yes, yeah, he definitely has closed that gap up quite quickly now. Berlin struggling for pace now at this point. Steve Higgins trying to make a few pitches up. He was higher than this at one point in the race, but after having a bit of a, he lost the position to Saka and then looped it, I believe. So on a bit of a sort of mission of his own right now with 4 minutes to go, and he's right behind that Porsche right now. Very close in that last corner. So I think a car is. Oh!
Your Kimchuk is off into the grass and without a front end right now.
See Robert Nygaard going through right now, and he is retired, so I believe he might have an engine, completely utter engine failure. But he was not moving
Well,
at
could
all.
be.
That's the end of his race. Another one to add to time as Steve Higgins goes down the inside of it to Berlin. This is the move, final move right now, and he makes it clean. Seeing him now moves up into P8, so good move there.
Yeah, very nicely done.
A popular spot that, which is not surprising. Good wide bit of track, quite a distinct braking point. It's a bit of a case of just brake late and you can possibly move, as long as they're not in front of you. If they're in front of you, just slow down a bit. Don't go in the back of them. Unfortunately got a 9-second gap to make up to Nygaard ahead. Don't think that's really quite possible.
He is immediately increasing the gap to Berlin as well, so yeah, Berlin definitely struggling with pace right now. He'll just be trying to get to the end. With Brunier 12 seconds behind him, so
ooh, Villar spun.
Okay, oh, Villar spun.
Now
Gets
moving.
back on track.
He's ahead of P2 right now. What happened there? He was racing Berlin at one point for P10, I believe, and 2 errors. That's dropped him down the order a bit. Into the 1 minute 40 mark, so I believe as the next time we cross the line will be the final lap. Mill will cross the line for the second to last time, possibly. As he will look taking possibly another victory. Not anything can happen. He's got a back marker ahead of him. Be a bit careful. So far, he's had a perfect race. Got the lead right at the beginning and have kept it since. And, yeah, a bit of challenge from early on and about midway point for Tom Pottage, and unfortunately for him, his race ended prematurely. Sophomores is there to keep ahead. Withstanding the pressure, so good drive by him. We've got 40 seconds left. So other cars really close enough to make any sort of interesting last-ditch attempts to overtake.
Mike Stoffmill is getting close to the end of the lap as the checkered flag drops now. Yeah, so it's looking like this will be the final lap.
Yep. Well, these back markers front will have to, unfortunately, do another lap as they are just a bit too far up the road. Carzola, he closed the gap on Sebastian, so possible loss.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Anyway, Mark Stoffmill crosses the line and wins the race.
Oh, okay. Brunia just lets Carzola past. He is not.
I'm guessing Bernie really not feeling confident right now. Just trying to make it to the end.
He's limping. He's limping home. He's not going at full speed right now. Has he underfueled?
Possibly.
I think of, because he is not pushing that car at all. Although it has pushed up the road quite a bit now. Yeah, he is short shifting.
Yeah, definitely. I just went on board with him. And he's suddenly short shifting and coasting.
That's a bit of a disaster for him. He's got to try and possibly not lose another lap or another car. He's not having.
Velar is 25 seconds behind him. So he should be okay.
Okay, but Sebastian's not having the best luck this season. Been having a bit of future results involving other cars.
So as Velar has just retired, it seems. Oh no, he's back. He was just glitched out for a moment.
While the other cars are crossing the finish line right now. A few of them have. Carzola will cross the line for P10 just ahead of Sebastian. As he will just about make it home. So Sebastian does finish in P11 after I believe he has to underfuel then. And he was the last car to cross the line. So, Mike Stoffel wins for the third time this season. And Tom Pottage with the fastest lap. P2 is Momenko, P3 Olsen, Steppen, Brinion, Secker, Nygaard, Higgins, Berlin, and Carzola round off the top 10. That has been round 3 at Imola.
Round 4.
Round 4. Both Italian tracks. That start of the race was really good. Lots of racing, lots of close packing. Unfortunately, it did sort of spread out as the race continued. A few retirements here and there. It was a really good race. Other than that, hoped everyone else enjoyed it who was watching.
Yeah. So if you did enjoy it, please click the like button. We would very much appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to catch our next race. Will be in 2 weeks' time at Spa.
Yep. Hope we see you all then.